All right, so now let's go ahead and write the functionality to update the user's profile. So I'll come back to my code editor here and I'll come to my controller. All right, so let's clear this guy up first. And okay, so we're going to start by getting the user. Remember, this route is protected. Let me show you, or let me refresh your memory. So update user route is protected, and any route that is protected has access to the request.user.id, or essentially has access to the user data. And just to refresh your memory one more time, I'll go to my auth, and you see here that this is it, request.user, and we set it to be equal to the user data. So because we protected the update user route, it means that in the controller we can also have access to the user data. So let's begin. So first off, I'm going to get the user out. I'll say const user, and that's going to be equal to await. We're going to use the user model to find by ID. So find by user dot find by ID. Yeah. So now what's the ID? It's going to be request dot user dot underscore ID. So that will look get the user out for us. Now I've got to come here and say that if user, so let's have an if statement. So if the user has been found, then let's open that up. Essentially what we want to do is we want to update the information that we get for that user, and that information is going to be in the body. But because we don't even know what the user will choose to update, they can choose to update only their name or maybe only their bio. So we're just going to be smart about it. So here, let me destructure all the properties from this user. I'll say const, and I've done this before. Maybe I should actually just grab it from where I used it before. Get user. I think I used it here. Great. So let's just get all of this. I'll just copy that. You know what? I can actually just copy everything. Okay, I'll just copy this destructuring part, and then let me collapse this. So I'll come here and slot that in. Aha, great. So I've gotten all the properties of the user here. Now technically what we want to do is that we want to update the user's information with the information that is coming from the front end or from the body of that request. So let's start with the email, user.email. Right, so I'm saying the user, this user here dot email, and I'll set it to be equal to the email. So because I don't want that one to change at all, you don't want your users to keep changing their email. So that's the first, user.email set to email, but the remaining can change. So we'll go to user.name, and that we're going to set that to be equal to request.body.name. Okay, so request.body.name. Now what if the user does not send any name in the request? Well, we'll now have or set it back to the name. So you see this name here. So that's what we're going to do for all of, oh, this shouldn't be a comma, sorry, it should be a semicolon. We're closing it. So let me close this one as well. So I'll just duplicate this and do the same for the remaining part of the properties in the user. So let me just do it 1, 2, 3. So just 3. So here I will change this to user.phone. So if the user decides to change their phone number, so phone, then this next one I'll change to user.bio. If they decide to change their bio, that's fine. So bio. Then next is going to be user.photo. So that's the last one. So, oh, I made a mistake there. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is photo. Great. Now remember, we have a special function to update to change the password. So I'm not going to add the password here. It's not like I cannot add the functionality here, but it will make this controller function very cumbersome. That's why I just decided that, look, let's just leave the password for now. We'll create a special API endpoint to update the password. All right, so now these are the properties we want to update in the user, After we've updated it, we can now go ahead and save it. So I'll create another variable. I'll say const updated user, and that's going to be equal to, now we're going to say await user dot save and call that. So this is another way we can update pieces of information in our database, right? Next, let's return the what's it called information back to the user. So I gotta come here and I'll say response .json. Let's open that up, and then I'm just going to send the information back. So what are the information that I want to send? Well, the ID, the name, and everything like that. So I think I've done that before. Let me come somewhere where I've done that before, because I don't want to have to type it again. Okay, great. So here I've listed all of the information before, so I'll just come here and grab everything except the token, and then I'll just copy that and come down here and paste it in. Aha. So but now we want to return the updated user, so I mean the information in the updated user. So technically I can just put my cursor here on each of these guys like so, and then I'll say updated user dot, okay, so the first one is going to be dot the ID, so underscore ID. Then I'm going to, this one is going to be the name, this one is going to be the email. Next we're going to have the photo, there needs to be a P here, P H. Then the last one is going to be the phone, then the bio. Okay, so that's about it. We're going to return that in the JSON data. Then what if what if the user was not found or something, or there was an error or something about getting the user from the database? Then we're going to have an else statement. So this is where the if statement ends. So I'll just come here and add an else statement and just open that up. Let me just give space here. So in the else statement is where I'll just throw an error, a 404 error, and say user was not found. So let's just say response.status, and then I'll just say 404, and then I'll just throw new error, and in that error I'll say user not found. Yeah, so that's it basically. Now I think we can go ahead and test it. Okay, so this response.json, I should probably put a status here. status, and I'll say it was successful, so 200, then .json. Okay, all right, so moment of truth, let's go ahead and test out the okay, we don't even want to destructure the ID here because we're not using it, so let's get the ID out of that. And yeah, so I'll save, and then I'll come to my Insomnia here to test it out. So first off, this is the update user route. When you want to update the user, at least you need to have at least an information you want to update. So for now, I'm just going to keep things simple. I would update the name of the user. So let's just say name, and then I'll just change the name to Zeno updated. I think it was just Zeno. All right, so let's, fingers crossed. Let me make sure that I'm logged in first. So I'll send to make sure that I'm logged in. And as you can see here, my name is just Zeno, and the email is user4@gmail.com. So I would come to update user, and then I'll send this one. So send. Aha. So you see, we get a new response. We get a response rather, and the name has been changed to Zeno updated. Now, just to make sure that the name actually changed, I'm going to go back to the login user and just try to fire it again. And indeed, you see here that we get Zeno updated, so that actually changed. I don't know if there's any need to test the other ones, but if the name updated, then I'm sure the others will update. But just to be on the safe side, I'm just going to test it So I'm not going to change the email, but I'm going to update the name, the phone. So phone, and I'll just say 070, and then I'll update the bio. I'll say bio updated. Then lastly, we're going to have the photo. Now I really don't have any photo here, but let me just add something. So photo, and then I'm just going to say photo, just keep it the same, and then I'll send. Okay, aha, so you see we have the Xeno updated. We're not updating the email. For the photo, we have photo, for the number and the bio. So technically we've been able to create the route that will update the user data except the password. Now in the next one, we are then going to create a special route for updating the password. Thank you so much for watching this one. I'll see you in the next one.